This is SugaBear's Community Corner. This is when we highlight people in the community giving back. We put a light on them and let them shine. And she is shining indeed today. Her name is Charlyn Moss, founder and CEO of Working Within. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here. You have a wonderful smile. Don't be nervous. This is we're just two people having a conversation.
Thank you.
And you're doing amazing work out in the community. CEO of Working Within. So it is, I'll let you explain exactly what Working Within is. What is that?
Working Within is an effort to help our Black social enterprise leaders here in Denver and eventually nationally access more revenue while staying on mission. We've found that with even business owners and social enterprise leaders that while they're the closest to the solutions in the Black community and closest to the creativity, they're often cut off from resources that can help them scale their impact initiatives or even raise the capital they need to make the changes they want to see.
Got it. Okay, so let's talk about you a little bit and how you got into this space, because she's a young lady. You're only how old?
I'm 25.
Okay, 25 years old out here as a CEO. How did you get into this field of work, and how did this start to begin? Was it from a kid, or talk about that a little bit, the journey?
Yeah, I think I understood economics growing up because I would go home to my grandparents and then come back, and that always showed me that, people are living in different realities. And as a kid, I noticed that difference. And so being raised by a military dad, you can understand what that will do.
Yeah.
He pushed me to pursue a finance education at a really competitive school. And while I, wasn't so passionate about finance, it did teach me the way of the world, the way of the market, and how folks are accessing resources that in my family I saw wasn't happening. And so realizing that I had finance background, also wanting to study the business of social impact and legal studies, that led me to a job after graduation where I was working at a boutique consulting firm that focused on consulting for national foundations. Right. And those foundations are giving out hundreds of millions of dollars. But I noticed that I was the only Black person in the room, only Black consultant on the team.
Yeah.
We were talking about addressing challenges for Black and brown students was the vernacular they would use. And, I found that to be really difficult, at the same time recognizing my leadership potential and all that I was learning from that role. So I found that there is a way to bring that expertise and that knowledge and also that social capital into community space, into Black community spaces, because I felt like there was huge potential and need.
Yes. And now, and the work that you're doing has to be a labor of love. Like, for you to be able to serve the community and do what you're doing in this way, that has to feel good to you to give back in this way.
It feels great. I've always wanted to be servant in my career pursuits. I think I've always been the most exhausted, the most depressed when I was, not being able to pursue that in my career.
Yes. What are some of the challenges that you've faced, Charlyn, being a young Black woman in this space? I'm sure you've had some stories or some people who look at you and say, I don't know, who are you? They think that you're the help or
yes.
whatever, right? Or they think that you don't belong, that you're not even the CEO in its position. Talk about that.
Yeah, I feel like that's how we got here. I've been very rebellious. My parents will tell you that ever since I was little. And so I've always had a challenge with asserting myself and then being told to keep it back even when I was a little girl. And so just the difficulty that I face, I think first being a confidence issue. I think we're told all the time that, when you're young, you can't lead and you shouldn't be looking to make changes and you should not. There's a lot of should nots. And I think, given my stubbornness has been an asset here. I think another thing and the challenge that I faced is just finding the right leaders to follow.
Oh.
I've had a lot of experiences with leaders who I've, chosen to serve, and it's not served me, but also propelled me forward. And so just being able to, again, understand for myself what I actually want to be doing and what purpose and change I'd like to pursue in my life, being able to also then say no to any rejection or negative energy or misleading that's coming my way.
What about mentorships? Do you have mentors to kind of help you guide your steps as you move, in this young stage of your life?
Oh, definitely. I think of a lot of my entrepreneur friends, like Tanoa Manuel at SIG Consulting Firm.
Yeah, shout them out. Yes.
Yeah, Jice Johnson at the Black Business Initiative and the Economic Development Association for Black Communities. I think Dr. Ryan Ross, who's at the Urban Leadership Foundation.
He's here all the time.
Exactly.
I love that guy. Yes, he's awesome.
Exactly. Yeah. And those three are just a subset of the folks that have helped expose me and also teach me how I can navigate this work and also show up in community how I want to.
And so with the company Working Within, how diverse is the company and, the people that are around you that help you on this mission work that you're doing?
Yeah, so our workforce, and I'm very proud of this because about 1% of Black-owned businesses in Denver actually employ folks. And so
Wow.
I am this is like my favorite
I
thing
love
about
that.
us.
Yes.
75% of our workforce identifies as Black.
Okay.
100% of our workforce identifies as woman. And many of us are Gen Z, you could say. And so we're a diverse, and we're a really dynamic team. Super proud of the work we're able to do. And we're serving clients that mostly identify as Black. If they don't, it's kind of like an indirect relationship where they might be sponsoring some program work or some project work for a Black leader.
Nice. And for the Black leaders or the leaders that are out there who are looking to get involved, like, how does this work? Do you have to apply? Do they call you? What's the process, the steps for that?
Yeah, I feel like I'm always out there. I'm always
Okay.
looking to meet you if
Looking to
you're
meet
looking
you.
for
Yes,
me.
that's the
Yes.
part. Yeah.
And so we'll find an opportunity. I mean, we'll probably run into each other, and then we'll have a call. We'll talk about where the organization is, where they are as a leader, what they'd like to see for themselves and their organization and in the community. Usually, off bat, we're having some sort of alignment, which is really great. But then from there, we'll kind of put together a scope of work, so they don't have to apply. You can just talk to me or talk to anyone on the team, and we'll have a conversation about what you're looking for, and we'll talk through how the Working Within Biz Cycle can assist with any of the goals that they're looking to accomplish. The most frequent request we get is, "Hey, I need help driving my revenue up," because that's the engine of the org.
Yeah, that is the engine, like revenue. Okay, and since because of your financial background or the knowledge that you have, how important is that for us as a people, like as a culture, to have that knowledge of how the finances work? Because that's a big part of it.
It's a huge part of it with our clients. I love working with our clients, even though it is work, just because they're all so passionate and usually care a lot about what they're doing. However, passion does not beat business. It doesn't replace business mindset. It doesn't replace balance sheets or profit and loss, right? You need your profit to pay your people, and you need profit to grow. And we can't do all we want to do when we stay as sole proprietors. So to me, it's really important that we're able to understand business concepts, and that's the value proposition that Working Within brings. We bring business to the social sector without trying to co-opt it. Sure. We're trying to bring them together because they're better when they're together.
That's beautiful. It is Black History Month. So I want to know from your perspective as a young Black woman in this space, as a CEO, making this difference, how does it feel to operate in this space? Like on a daily for sure, but this month, trailblazing, in fact, what you're doing, like I salute you for what you're doing. How does that feel?
Well, I feel like I'm always moving so fast that I do not realize what is going on, which is a good thing because I don't want to become an egomaniac or anything. But I feel like when I get to look back and sit, I'm just really proud to be able to create opportunities for other Black people in like very competitive wage opportunities, to even say that. And so it just makes me proud, and I'm honored, honestly, that I can be a vessel in this world to create opportunities for people like me.
It's a beautiful thing. Her name is Charlyn Moss. Okay, we're going to talk to her, play a song. It's been great. Let's talk a little bit about you and your journey. You said you moved here during the pandemic, right?
Yes, I graduated during the pandemic and then moved right to Colorado. It's clear in my family, like, you graduate, get out of here and start your job.
You got to go and start doing your thing. So tell us a little bit about being in this city of Denver, right? And how you get to serve it and how you've grown to love it because you kind of planted your roots here and doing well.
Yeah, thank you. Always. I feel like the contrast and feeling like I have roots comes from just not having roots for so long. As I mentioned, I'm a military brat, so I moved every 3 years my whole life until now. I think I'm on year 4. And so when I moved during the pandemic, while it was very quiet for a while and is really where Working Within was born, it made me recognize just that really strong desire I finally had to place roots because I had never had the choice beforehand. And so one of my key ways that I've been able to integrate in the community is actually through the Urban Leadership Foundation of Colorado, their Connect Leadership Fellowship. And that actually put me in space with people that looked like me, which in Colorado is very difficult.
Very difficult, yes.
And also people who were looking to develop in their leadership journey. And so that was a very positive environment for me. It helped me understand what I wanted. It helped me leave behind things that were no longer serving me.
Again, she's only 25, ladies and gentlemen. As a CEO doing this incredible work, you're kind of finding out where you are and discovering who you are as a person, right? So how did you navigate through that? Because some of your friends are probably out there turning up and doing things and out in these streets. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Right?
I know what you mean.
And you out here like, listen, I'm trying to make sure that we're set up as a people, right, for the future. Talk about that journey.
Yeah, I think about it like an investment. It's definitely a sacrifice for a greater gain and also like a more utilitarian gain. I definitely, leaving college, I was a total party girl and I enjoyed, like having fun. But, you just recognize that you've got to sacrifice anything to get anything. And I think being alone when I moved here during the pandemic served me really well. I got really into things like yoga,
Nice.
other types of spirituality. And I just had the time to think about who I was, why I was here. It's pretty existential, but productive. And that alone time kept me away from influences that, I had. And so once I started to build Working Within, which at the beginning was a podcast, it was easy to recognize that it would need more of my time to become what I wanted it to be. And while difficult in the moment, it's important to have that why and to understand that, you want to build something for the future. And that's why it was easier for me to say no to the trips and the things that I had to say no to.
Can't go to Cabo, right?
Yes, literally.
Like, I'm not going to Cabo. Y'all have fun, send me some pictures. That's a beautiful thing. You mentioned something about, your spiritual grounding, I guess, that you have and how it kind of balanced you out from a mental health standpoint. How are you? Do you take care of that and do you prioritize that?
Thank you for asking that. I think last year I reached a point. I remember a good friend of mine, Javon Brame, this year, he was like, "You killed last year." And I was like, yeah. In my head, I was like, last year killed me. And so that really showed me that I needed to reprioritize myself. And so this year, I've really tried to hone in on that. With my boyfriend, we have Bible studies, we go to church, and
Beautiful.
then during the week, I try not to take meetings on Fridays. I try to have quiet Mondays. I go to the gym more often. I try to go in the morning just because as a CEO and as many people know, I think it's underestimated how much you have to deal with in a day. I'm dealing with personnel, I'm dealing with clients, I'm dealing with emails and comms, and there's always a fire drill. And so there's just a high volume of things. And I'm anxious. Like I'm anxious by nature and obsessive. And so that's become really important.
So it's helped in that for you to be able to balance yourself out in that way. Let's talk about an award that you won recently. I think this is a most amazing thing. I saw this, so we got the information knowing that you were going to be here to interview. Talk about this award that you just received. It's amazing.
Thank you. The award is from the Denver Business Journal. It's the NO Under 25, and for that award, they honor Denver and Colorado entrepreneurs who are 25 and under. I was just happy to make the list because it reminded me how young I am, number one, but also because with being based in Denver and doing so much of our community work in Denver, it's amazing to be recognized by the Denver Business Journal. It's also edifying because we are young and, being able to say, well, hey, look, we're in the Denver Business Journal. It just really helps us establish ourselves as a company, even when I sometimes doubt that.
Congratulations. That's a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
And so for all our youth out there listening, again, if you have a question and or need some information, she's going to give you that shortly here, 303-893-DROP. What's your message to our young business leaders out there who, again, are trying to find their way and they have this burning desire maybe to give back and to help the people who look like us? What's your message to all of them not listening?
Yeah, that the sacrifice is worth it, but it takes a lot of sacrifice. It's not glamorous. It's not always coming on the radio. It's not always hanging out. I think I've let go of more things than I have gained in this journey, and I've still gained a lot. And so just being willing to let myself evolve just like a butterfly, that'll serve you well. Let the things fall off. That doesn't mean they won't be replaced by something better.
I love that. Okay, and also you're going to do some speaking engagements here soon, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so let's talk about that because if someone would love for you to, come and speak to, I don't know, a school, organization, how does that work?
Definitely. So you can reach out to us at hello@workingwithin.net or speaking at workingwithin.net. Right now, I'm speaking a lot about the business of social impact, which is one of my passion topics, telling the story of working within, talking about leadership styles, and a few other topics. And so if you're looking to have a dynamic speaker, I promise I don't read to you, and I'm not going to read off the slide. I'm actually, I talk just like this. And so it'd be really awesome to be able to share with your audience.
I love that you said dynamic speaker, that you know that about yourself.
Thank you.
How important is it that for our young Black leaders to know who you are and like where you stand and the place that you hold, and, our ancestors and how they paved the way. And here you are in this space. Like, that's important. And so this is why it's a passion for us to be able to highlight people like yourself, especially in you're being so young and being able to do what you do. So it's amazing to have you in front of me, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
You're so amazing. I love that you're happy about. Okay, once again, give them the website, how they can reach you, social media, whatever other information that they need.
Yes. So for the Instagram baddies, we are on Instagram at working.within. You can follow us there. We try to stay really consistent because we're community-based on what we're doing, where we're going, and what events we're attending, and also where our clients are doing. We are also at workingwithin.net, which is where you'll see more, that official business stuff. We are reachable by email at hello@workingwithin.net. That will go to a few different people on the team, so it's really not a ghost inbox, I promise. And then our phone number, which we actually got a call recently, which is so good, 720-674-7776, and we'll get back to you via phone as well. And so we're there in all the ways.
That's beautiful. Thank you again for your time. Again, her name, Charlyn Moss. You can look her up. CEO, 25 years old, doing it out here.